Now, beach erosion in Puerto Rico is destroying the island at an alarming rate. It led the Caribbean Islands Climate Change Council to sound the alarm with its latest assessment. And this comes as the island has already had to deal with rising sea levels, hurricanes, and flooding. Leila Santiago reports.
Off the tropical waters of Puerto Rico.
Do you see this as an emergency?
This is an emergency. Absolutely.
Ernesto Diaz of the Puerto Rico Climate Change Council warns beach erosion is destroying the island of enchantment at an alarming rate. In fact, the very ground we walked on here was gone the next day.
This was all connected. We walked from here to over here with sand underneath our feet, and coastal erosion has taken it away, leaving this house very vulnerable on the beach. And it makes the point that the people of Puerto Rico need something done now.
The local government has deemed this neighborhood an emergency zone for 25 homes because of coastal erosion. It's the latest crisis on an island caught in the crosshairs of climate change. Destructive hurricanes, sea level rise, flooding, extreme heat, the results of a planet that is warming.
Small islands like Puerto Rico do not emit much of the greenhouse gases that are causing the problem, but we're the first ones that feel the impacts.
Climate change, what does that mean to you?
Well, we believe it because we've seen it.
Edwin Cotto lives further east in Loíza, a town where roughly half of the population lives in poverty, according to the U.S. Census. He's watched the beaches shrink, the sidewalks crumble in front of the home he's lived in for 60 years because of the coastal erosion.
One storm, it will wipe this road out.
Down the street, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers recently built this rock barrier designed to prevent erosion. But Cotto will not benefit from that protection since his house falls just outside the project's boundaries.
So you've had politicians, decision makers, government officials come here, and you've shown them all of this. Do you feel
we all have shown them.
Do you feel like they're listening?
Like I said, they tell you that they're listening. They sound really, really nice. They say a lot of stuff, but don't come up with nothing.
I would say to him that after these conversations, I'm going back to Washington, D.C., and my staff will be following up in a matter of weeks.
That's the head of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA Administrator Michael Regan. He visited Puerto Rico as part of his Journey to Justice tour, an effort to shed light on environmental issues that disproportionately affect people in marginalized communities.
I know that these people have faced systemic racism. I know that these people have faced environmental injustice, and I know that we have to do something about it.
Part of the solution, he says, resources from the bipartisan infrastructure law, more than $50 billion in funding that can tackle issues like flooding. But on the island repeatedly battered by climate change, an island where the government said more than half of its beaches are experiencing erosion, even before Hurricane Maria, skepticism remains.
We want to hear specific. When are you going to do something? When? We don't even care what. When you're going to start doing something, because anything they do is better than nothing.
And according to a recent survey from the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication, 47% of Americans believe global warming will end up affecting them personally.